We know McGregor is basically the one tied to theory X, Y, X and Y theory. Do you remember X and Y theory? So there are some people, if you don't supervise them, group of people, if you don't supervise them, they won't do the right thing. There's a group of people, you have a group of people, they don't need much supervision. They are self-motivated, more like the agile team. That's theory Y. And theory X, you need to supervise and stay with them. So to help you remember that this is X and Y, when you're writing it, McGregor, the R, you make it like Y. So you'll be writing this, McGregor. So this Y will be the trigger to help you remember is theory X and Y. Okay, because you don't want to miss them. You don't want to miss McGregor's theory to Hesbeck. So once you have this, it will be the trigger. So your mind goes to the Y. Oh, through X and Y. Okay, X, say yes to the people. X, say no to the people. You need to supervise them, stay with them. Yes to the people, leave them. They are self-motivated. They love to work. X, say no to them. If you don't supervise them, if you don't monitor them, they are lazy people. They don't want to work. So you need to stay with them, monitor them. So X, say no. Y, say yes to them. You use the Y as a trigger. So anytime this is mentioned, your mind goes to the Y. Oh, through X and Y. That becomes easy. Hesbeck, you also write it again and you make emphasis on the H. H, what comes to mind? With the Hesbeck, H will trigger what?
Hygiene.
Hygiene, great, I like that. So hygiene, so this one would let you know, oh, Hesbeck is about the hygiene factors and the motivating agent. So H, that would be the trigger. Hygiene factors. Okay, that's fine. The nice friends. Okay, then the motivating factor agent will also come. So a trigger, creating a trigger for you to help you remember this one. Now, you know, with the 6 sigma, you have 5 sigma, 1 sigma, 2 sigma. You've learned this in quality. Do you remember? When we talked about 6 is more about 3.4 defect per million opportunities. Now, how do I remember 6 sigma is 3.4 defect in 1 million opportunities? Okay, so 6 is here. Next number is 5. Next number is 4. Next number will be 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not interested in this. I'm interested in 6. So 6 sigma, 3, 4, point here, 3.4. We go to 6 sigma. If you sketch this, or if you write this, it will be a trigger in your head. And this will help you remember. This will help you remember what you are learning. So that's a 6 sigma. 6 sigma, we use this with cost of quality. Do you remember cost of quality? 2 major areas. So we are thinking of cost of quality. If you want to achieve quality, how much are we looking at? So we look at 2 major things. Cost of what? Conformance and cost of what? Cost of what? Not conformance.
Non-conformance.
So conformance, non-conformance. Now for conformance, how do I remember the things to consider? You're likely to have a question on that. How do I remember the things I should consider? What I'll do is, for conformance, I'll just say conformance pays, P-A. I'm interested in a P and A. Conformance pays, P-A. So I'll write it like this, P-A-Y-S. Conformance pays, that is a trigger. So if I say conformance, if I conform, it will pay. Conformance pays, then P will stand for what? Do you remember? Preventive cost. A will stand for what? Appraisal. Do you remember?
Yes, please.
So you are struggling to remember because we didn't use a technique. So for cost of conformance, my mind goes to conformance pays. Yeah, if I conform, it will pay. Conformance, if I conform, it will pay. So pay, PA. Okay, so P is preventive cost. A is appraisal cost. Then for non-conformance, when you don't conform, what happens? You're likely to fail. So you could say non-conformance is failure. Non-conformance is failure. When I do this, I know non-conformance is failure. And in failure, we have two parts. We have an internal and what?
External.
External. So in exam, when they ask me to explain cost of quality, my mind first goes to the two groups, cost of conformance, cost of non-conformance. How do I know the things to consider under cost of conformance? Oh, conformance pays. P stands for preventive, A stands for appraisal. Non-conformance is failure. Okay, then we are looking at the two types of failure, internal, external. Easy. This has become a long-term memory in your head. There's no way you miss this in the exam hall if you revise this trigger. Are we getting the concept? I started with this just to let you know there is nothing wrong with you. If you could learn with strategies for the things you find a little bit confusing, difficult, you remember them in the exam hall. Let me test you again. What can you say about PC, project charter, when it comes to input?
Yes,
I call it a planning queue. Okay, so PC has become planning queue, P for planning queue. So the project charter is a planning queue. If you pay attention, you realize that the initial planning processes will always feed on the project charter as an input. So the initial planning process, you are likely to see the project charter as an input. For example, if I ask you to give me an input for scope management process, project charter, super, correct? Because the project charter starts the work and it touches every part of the project. So I want to understand the scope part of the project. I could feed on the project charter for information. So that's a planning queue. It could help us plan the work. So that becomes an input to many of the planning processes. So if I asked you to give me output for estimating activity durations, then you are scratching your head. No, there's a pattern. Once it's an estimate process, I'll definitely get time estimate and I'll get basis of estimate. If I ask you to give me output of estimating cost, okay, that should be easy. Cost estimate, basis of estimate. Do you get it? And there's another one, you estimate resource quantity. So quantities, the resource, you need to estimate them. And you also have the resources and you have the base of estimate. Okay, so there's a pattern running through. So you need to observe. Data analysis is a tool technique. Where would you see them more? If you pay attention, you realize you see them more under management plans, processes, and controlling processes. Okay, I'm trying to bring these ones out for you to know that if you pay attention to your notes, to the things we teach you, it shouldn't be difficult because there are patterns in there. There are techniques you can use to remember the things you learn. Requirements documentation, requirements traceability matrix, they work together. So if you see an input requirements documentation, you are likely to see requirements traceability matrix. If you see an output as requirement documentation, you're likely to see requirements traceability matrix. Okay, exercise time. How would you create an acronym for this? Steps, we're asking you, steps for developing budget. What are the steps you go through to develop a budget? You say break the work down, estimate the cost, aggregate cost, build contingency, get approval. Create an acronym to help you do this. So you use the letters. First letter is what? B. Next letter is E. Next letter is A. But the main things in there, Next letter is B, but this build won't help anything. The thing I need is contingency, isn't it? So I'll pick C. Next one is G, but I need approval. So I'll pick A. What do I have now? Beaker. Beaker, what comes to mind? Although cat budget. B, the cat. Beaker, play with it. When you play with it, it becomes a long-term memory. Beaker, yeah, I want to remember cat budget, cat. Beaker. So Beaker, break it down, estimate, aggregate, contingency, approval. Beaker. So they ask you to develop the steps, give us the steps, explain briefly. Oh, your mind goes to Beaker. I need to break down the work. You give examples. I need to estimate my cost. I need to aggregate the cost. I need to build contingency and get approval. When you remember approval, the build get approval will come. When you remember contingency, the build contingency will come. Or you may not necessarily say build contingency. You could use your own words. But once you have contingency, it's correct. You have approval, we'll mark you. When you have the aggregate, the cost, estimate, break it down, you get it. Beaker. Beaker. Now, what are the components of the project management plan? It's got all the subsidiary management plan, scope management plan, risk management plan, communications management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan. You've got all these subsidiary management plans in there. It also has what? The baseline. You could have questions on this. Also have what? Development approach, DA. And the life cycle. Okay. Now, how do I remember this? I'll look at PMP. I could see these. I'll try and see these ones in there. Okay, the MP will be my management plans. So the MP, okay. So PMP, project management plan. The MP will be my management plans. So management plan sorted out. The P, okay. Let me make it like B. The P, make it like B. So that will be my baselines. Okay, let me try and create D out of it. That will be my development approach. So this has become B and D and P. If you doodle, if you do this on paper, in the exam hall, your mind will bring you to what you did. Because I keep saying this, your mind is always standing next to you when you are learning. And based on how you learn, it signals the brain. What does that mean? It means the mind is not the brain. We'll talk about it later. The mind is not the brain is not the mind, but the two work together. Okay? So when you are learning, the mind is standing next to you. And how you learn it is how it will feed the brain. So if you are learning this way, the mind is watching. And we'll ask the brain to record this. So for you to remember this, project management plan. The mind says, don't forget, we doodled, we sketched this, PMP. The MP is for the management plans, all the management plan, we'll list them. The P, we had B out of the P, that's the baseline, and we had D out of it, that's the development approach. Oh, okay, you have it. You need to remember this. You are likely to have questions on this. Wrong. And we are asking you to explain it, giving us the level of accuracy. You need to know the numbers. But you watch it. Can you see a pattern in this? So this pattern is being reduced. So, and this is going there. So this goes there. This is being reduced, 10. 10 is reduced by 5. So you have 5. So you have this as the ROM. This as your budget estimate. This as your definitive. So when you do this and you see the pattern in your mind's eye and you doodle it, you sketch it, there's no way you miss it. It might not come to you readily, but as soon as you put a pen down and you start to link it, the brain will go to that trigger and it will bring you all the information. So there's a session in there. What is the level of accuracy? There's a question, level of accuracy for ROM. Your brain will bring you this trigger Remember, oh, minus 25 plus 75. You could doodle this, write this one, sketch it down, and all the information will come to you. So watch out for patterns. Can you see a pattern here? Look at this. This is what we do variance. Look at the calculation. Cost variance is EV minus AC. Those of you who have actually watched the video, you should be familiar with this. Schedule variance, it talks about how you are faring in terms of time and cost. So schedule variance in terms of time. Schedule variance, EV minus PV. Cost performance index, EV over AC. Schedule performance index, EV over PV. Watch carefully. What pattern do you see here? To help you memorize this. I like that bit. It's always the EV. So whenever I'm thinking about the formula, it's always about the EV. So cost variance, CV. Oh, I know it's always about the EV. So EV first, EV first. Oh, cost minus actual cost. Why? Because variance means different. Those of you who have watched the video, I talked about it. Variance means what? Different. We are taking the difference between EV and actual cost. So the C is for actual cost. The other one is schedule variance. I know about EV, AC, I know about PV. Okay, it's always the EV first. So EV, I've done the AC, so the next one will be what? PV. Schedule variance, EV first minus PV. Now watch. For my CPI, if I know this, what can you observe here? This is EV minus AC. This is EV minus AC. This is CPI is EV over what? AC. I like that part. It's the same thing, but this one is variance minus. This is a ratio, so it'll be division. So just change the minus to division. That's it. It's the same thing. So when I know this, I don't need to struggle with this and that. I see people, they could get answers for this and get this wrong. I give them numbers, work out your cost variance, they get it right. Work out the cost performance index, they get it wrong. They didn't use a strategy. There's a pattern in there. This is EV minus AC. For the ratio CPI, it will be EV, the minus will go division AC. That's it. So if I gave you EV as 100, EV is 100, AC is 120. Ask you to work out cost variance and CPI. It should be easy for you. So this one will be EV minus, so 100 minus 120. The other one will be 100 over 120. That's it. So when you know the first one, the others should be easy for you because you've learned a pattern. This is connected to this. This is connected to this. And it all be connected in your brain. So as soon as this is remembered, this will be remembered because you learned it intentionally. If you didn't connect it, the brain can't connect it for you. It looks at your intentions. So once you've done this, spotted this, it has become a memory in your head. As soon as you remember this, the brain knows this is also connected. It has to bring information tied to this. Okay. Firm fixed price. Somebody's trying to remember this. Too firm for sellers. Now, do you remember we talked about the one that is not too good for the customer and the one that's not too good for the seller? Do you remember? So we said which one holds the highest risk? I don't know if you did it. Which one holds the highest risk so far as the seller is concerned? And which one holds the highest risk so far as the customer is concerned? Looking at the types of contract. And we said that the firm fixed price holds the highest risk for the sellers. So you could say, too firm fixed price. This is too rigid, too firm for sellers. So highest risk for sellers. This one, you say CPP cool, not too good for customers. So you could say, the CPP cool. So that comes to cost plus percentage of cost, CPPC. Oh, the CPP cool wasn't too good for customers. So the C is customers. So you tie it. C here for customers, CPP customers. So this is words for customers. C is customer. worst for them? You could have questions on that. Which one is worst or carries the highest risk for customers? Is the CPP. And you know about that. I don't need to teach you. You already know. Okay. Time and material is based on time or the item, isn't it? Easy. Based on the time or the item. Fixed price, easy. The price is fixed. Cost reimbursable. You look at this word, the definition. Reimbursable means to pay back. So what you put in will be paid back to you. Easy. When I learn this, I don't need to memorize it. I don't need to struggle with this. Listen to the name, and that's it. There's the last bit, and we are done. Look at this. The 12 steps in procurement. Okay, you may have a question on this. So let's assume you had a question. Could you walk through, could you go through, outline the typical steps in procurement for 20 marks? The guy says, shh, yeah, learn this. Yay. Then he will miss this. He will put conduct technical evaluation up here. He will put submit proposals down there. Then he will mess them up. Instead of scoring 20, he will have about 10. But he could have used a formula to help me organize this one. Because we said steps. If you miss a step, you have a problem. Steps. So it has to be that, it has to be in that sequence. But without a strategy, it will be a little bit tough. How do I remember all these 12? All these 12 phrases. Very difficult. So what do I do? Okay, let me remember. If it's difficult, I need to remember my techniques. I'll use acronym. Okay, so I gave you an acronym. You look at this one. So, what is so? What does so mean? For the statement of work. So I need to sow a seed first. What's the first thing you do when you're planting? You sow a seed. When it grows, what will be the last thing? You reap. You sow the seed. When everything is mature, you reap or receive the fruit. So you've memorized the first and the last. Now let's work out an acronym. There's an acronym I bring to you. It's called, it goes like Seas, Breeze, Car. So you have a car, the make or the model is Seas Breeze. So what's the name of your car? Seas Breeze. So like sea, look at the sea. And there's breeze there. And that's could be used for your car. Make it come out with something. It may not have to be wise or sensible. Just come with anything. It doesn't matter. So seas breeze. I go to the sea, I see some breeze, I feel some breeze, and I use a breeze to create a car. It shouldn't make sense, but it's helping you to remember. Seas breeze, car. Okay, what car are you going to procure? Seas breeze car. Now I need to sow the seed, then receive my fruit. So first and last, done. Okay. Now if you look at this, the next one, there's estimate in it. Okay, so CS here, prepare a high-level cost estimate. I use the E, estimate, to prepare my estimate. Then the A, I go with advertise. Because when you need to have a fair idea of how much it will cost. When you have a fair idea, you need to know exactly what you look for. So that's a statement of work. Then you will advertise. You need people to respond. So you need people who can do it. So you need to advertise to find these people. When you advertise, you shortlist the qualified sellers. So people respond, then you shortlist. So S, shortlist. Then when you shortlist, you need to prepare your bid documents, B. Because when these people, you know them, they will have to pick up the bid documents. Those of you working in the government institutions, you know about this. So they will come up and pick up the bid document. Sometimes you need to buy it. So the shortlisted sellers will prepare the bid for them to come and buy. So when we prepare the bid, what will happen? They will respond to the bid. They pick the bid up, they respond. So it says prepare and submit proposals by sellers. So they are responding. They picked up the bid document, they respond. Then there's evaluation. But evaluation, we are doing two types. We have TC. So this is T, technical, and the other one is commercial. Remember I told you, you need to go through the technical first. Okay? So your first E is technical. Evaluate. So conduct technical evaluation. The next one is what? Conduct cost evaluation or commercial evaluation. Okay? So this will be, just do this. As you're doing this, you are forming strong memory. This will be T. This is C. So evaluate technical proposals. Evaluate commercial proposal. Okay? Then you have, this is gone. Then you have this part where you select the winning proposal. So make your selection. Select your vendor. Okay, that would be S. Select your vendor. Then we have this one, the car bid. The car, when we select the vendor, what will happen? We issue a contract. Are we not going to issue a contract? We give him a contract. So that will be the car. When a contract is issued, we administer. That's what we term as conduct procurement. So we administer. And the last one already memorized, we receive the product and make our payment. So that becomes C's breeze. You can also do it backwards. And if you could do it backwards, it will become stronger in your head. Okay? Before you receive, what will happen? You administer. Before you administer, there was a contract. Before contract, there's a seller, selected seller. Before the selected seller, there was evaluation. The cost, before the cost, there was evaluation of the technical. Before the evaluation, there were responses. Before response, there were bids. Before bids, there were shortlisting of the sellers. Before shortlisting, there was advertising. Before advertising, there was estimate. Before estimate, there was statement of work. You've walked through backwards. So it's like you doing the forward pass and backward pass. If you do this, it becomes a long-term memory in your head. There's no way you miss this in the exam hall. For 20 marks, if you ask you to do this, remember C's breeze and you go through this. You don't necessarily have to write exactly this, but the key points in there should come out for your mind. Things you can also do to improve your mind. I call it headless. It's an acronym. So if you go through the book, you see these ones. One of them is hydration, drinking a lot of water. The other one is sleep. So go through and get the rest. If you have the book, you see these ones in